What is up, guys? Dzeeff here, and today I cannot believe we are doing this once again, but we are taking a look at, yes, Egyptian God comments that are on the Why Nobody Plays the Egyptian God video. This video, for some reason, still gets tons of views every single month. I think last month it got like 40,000 new views, which is just kind of mind-blowing considering how old and honestly how bad that video is, but it still gets recommended and people still watch it, and yes, people still leave hilarious comments. Now, I have not done a commenters don't understand video in like almost 2 full years, and I don't really plan on starting that series again. I even made a video over a year ago talking about why I don't really make those commenters don't understand discussions anymore. I think that kind of negativity just isn't that good to have as like one of your big series on YouTube. So I've kind of moved past it over the years. We had no commenters don't understand videos in all of 2020. So why am I suddenly talking about Egyptian God comments once again? Well, I saw this update a while ago and I kind of forgot about it, but basically YouTube no longer keeps your spam comments after 60 days. It automatically deletes them, and if you guys remembered, I sort of made all of the comments on that God card video go to automatically hidden, which apparently puts them in the spam folder. It used to not put them in the spam folder, it was a separate section, but a while back, for whatever reason, YouTube combined the spam section of comments and held for review section of comments into one section, and that is the section that deletes all of the comments after 60 days. And I feel kind of bad about this because I never really intended for those comments to be deleted. The only reason that I changed that video's comment section to automatically hold comments for review is that I was really sick of opening up my YouTube Creator app, and that shows all of your recent comments not by video but just all of them from any video, and every other comment was about me misreading Ra or Obelisk, and I got really sick of that. It made it very difficult to keep up with the comments on current videos. Now, I made that decision a long time ago. I think by now I've actually deleted the pinned comment even explaining it, because honestly, yeah, I don't really understand too much why I cared that much. I think I just got really sick of having to read the same comments over and over again, but nowadays I really don't care anymore, and for that reason I want to announce that yes, the floodgates are opening. You can go and comment on the Egyptian God video if you want to. I'm no longer automatically hiding comments for review, because who really fucking cares if people leave comments on an old ass video from 3 years ago? That's pretty much how I feel right now, so go ahead, comment things about the Egyptian gods if you want to. I'm so far past hiding comments for review, and I'm glad to finally make the switch, but I really had not thought about it until I recently noticed that all of those comments were being deleted after 60 days, and I was like, okay, this never really was a problem, but now, you know what, I'm just going to open up the comment section on that video just to make sure people's comments aren't being deleted. And I can also make sure to go through and approve all of the hidden comments that I do have access to at the moment. That brings us to the comments. Are they as bad as they were years ago? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you. It is yes, Egyptian God comments are still terrible. But here's the deal. My perspective about these comments has changed over the years. Back then, I was all about Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments and tournament cards and meta decks and stuff like that. So it didn't really make a lot of sense to me how people were so confused about the Egyptian gods. Now, though, I understand that the vast majority of Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans don't really play the game competitively, and I think a lot of other channels this past year especially have realized this, because there have not been in-person events, and people that do this as a job have to keep posting content, and it isn't always going to be about tournaments anymore. So I understand nowadays when I read a comment from someone that was very confused about the Egyptian God text, it probably just means that they haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In a very long time. Potentially, they've never played the actual trading card game while following the real rules. Anyway, let's take a look at some comments because I know people are curious about them. If you are wondering if I still get comments about Obelisk not being able to be targeted, the answer is yes. That is probably the most common comment on that video. I'll post a bunch of them here. People are still very confused because I said that Dark Hole and Mere Force can destroy Obelisk. To many non-Yu-Gi-Oh players, it might seem like if a card is destroying another card or affecting another card in some way, then by default it is targeting that card. I can understand where the confusion comes from. Obviously, we can just read the rulebook and see that different terms mean different things, but to an outsider, that might not be so obvious. So yes, I get plenty of questions or comments about targeting, and I do understand where they are coming from, but that is by far the most common comment, most common complaint on that video. As you probably already could guess, the other most common comment on that video has to deal with Ra and its life point pain effect. Here's the thing with Ra, this was actually my one mistake in that video from a content perspective. Basically, I implied that paying the life points when you summon Ra was not optional. I said something along the lines of, you have to pay down to 100 life points when you summon this monster. And that's not entirely true. Paying those life points is optional. What's not optional is paying down to 100 if you do choose to pay. And this has led to a bunch of confused comments. Now, not all of them are confused about me saying it's not optional. A number of them still mention paying any amount of life points, but there have been a number of comments throughout the years that point out that paying down to 100 is optional. And what happens then is that if I'm wrong about one thing in a video, that's a very easy way for someone to say, okay, he's probably wrong about other things as well. And then they won't really believe me for the rest of the video. So that definitely was my fault. And we're obviously way past being able to fix that nowadays. But yes, you can pay life points with Ra. You don't have to on summon. But if you do choose to pay life points, you will have to pay down to 100. A lot of people still mess that up. I've even gotten people that have gone back and edited their comments after summoning Ra using a dueling simulator or in Duel Links, and those are always really great where people get really angry and they come back and say, hey man, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that this was how this worked. One of the things that I saw a lot of comments about in regards to that life point payment is that a lot of people thought that the reason that I was wrong about that is because of course Konami would not print a card that has two effects that are so clearly not supposed to work together. And I think that's a fair assessment. You would think that you don't have to pay down to 100 life points, because if you do that, now you can't pay in multiples of 1000 unless you already have another life point gaining effect. And while I do understand where those commenters are coming from, not every single card is designed to have all of its effects work together. In fact, it can be kind of interesting, not so much in the case of Ra, but just in general, when you have effects that actually directly oppose each other so that the player has to decide which one they want to use in that situation. Now, in the case of Ra, I think the effects are pretty terrible even by themselves, so I don't think it quite works, but I think that that is pretty cool when Konami does that, when you give a card effects that maybe don't work together so that the player has to decide which one they want to use. When the Egyptian gods got added to Duel Links, I saw a ton of comments from people talking about how good they were in that game. I think these are mostly talking about more casual play in Duel Links. Some people have said that they're good in the game, like in terms of the ranked ladder. I think a lot of those did get deleted because they were from a while ago, but you can still find them every once in a while. People saying that the god cards are a lot better in Duel Links. Now, I haven't been playing Duel Links every single day for the past 3 years, so maybe I missed a time when the Egyptian gods were meta, but as far as I know, they are about as useful in that game as they are in the TCG. I have heard that Ra is pretty good though for grinding out against AI characters, but in terms of playing against real humans, yeah, I don't don't think they were ever that great, but feel free to correct me in the comment section below, because like I said, I've not entirely kept up with the Duel Links metagame over the years. I'm not going to individually analyze all of these comments, but a lot of people gave deck suggestions for playing the Egyptian gods. Some of them made more sense than others. I think the most common suggested deck has to be Aro Mages, because they gain life points, and people always comment that Aro Mages are the best way to play Ra. That has changed a bit recently with the release of Rage of Ra, because now you have way better options if you want to play that card, but for a while that was a pretty popular comment. Finally, I'll mention that a lot of people left pretty funny comments. I think a lot of those did get deleted over the years, but I did find a couple of them, so hopefully you guys will get a kick out of these. I know I did when I read them. And I do want to mention, if you left a funny or satirical comment over the years and it didn't make it into this video, I probably did read it, and it probably did make me laugh. I saw a ton of funny comments over the years. Anyway, that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you later. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.